So another thing that really stands out to me and something that you see quite a lot in modern times is how it's basically a religious cult for people. Like for example, on social media or in social scenarios or in online dating apps, people are like, "Don't even talk to me if you're not in therapy. Like, don't even waste my time if you're not doing the work. Don't waste my time if you haven't done the work, capital T, capital W." And what amazes me about this is the amazing, profound level of prejudice that's at play here that people just do not see and do not realize, which is the presumption that basically everyone is wounded, traumatized, emotionally unstable, and basically incapable of dealing with the most basic facets of life. So then we should ask, well, what is prejudice? Well, prejudice is a preconceived judgment or opinion. It's an assumption that forms a bias that basically distorts your experience. Bias tends to create self-fulfilling prophecies. So if your presumption is that everyone is wounded, traumatized, and emotionally unstable and incapable of dealing with the most basic facets of life, what does that say about you as a person? So this thing you're signaling to the world that you think is virtuous is actually signaling something different. But it only makes sense and it only signals to other people in the same cult, in the same confused, deluded state of existence. It signals to them in the same way of any other cult. If you walk into a new experience and you're carrying all of your old experience, then that's not walking into a new experience. It's walking into the same experience that you've always had, but under a different label, under a new guise of you thinking it's a new experience. So now not only are you confused, now you're also a liar. Now you're not only confused and misguided, you're a dishonest person. If you're constantly dishonest with yourself and others, now you're a person without integrity. Now you're in moral conflict, which is going to make you feel worse. So you're confused, you're misguided, and you're lying to yourself, which means you can't be honest with other people. But you think you're more evolved, you think you're more conscious, you think you're more clear, you think you're more superior, but you're actually in reality the opposite of all of those things. So then you have two choices. Admit that maybe you're wrong or admit and maybe these things are true, which, let's face it, will probably never happen. So the other thing is just double down, triple down, quadruple down, and go down more delusion, more confusion, more lack of clarity. So walking into every new experience, carrying all of the old experience and explaining all of the things and listing all the criteria and list of demands, but putting it under the psychological therapeutic label of doublespeak so that you can emotionally manipulate and coerce others. And what happens is people confuse the menu for the meal. They think they've done the work. So now they're more conscious, evolved, and somehow superior to everyone else, or they've healed and resolved all of these things, which, of course, sometimes is true. But if it was really true, would you even really still be thinking about it anymore? You know, I had a rash when I was a kid. I never think about it. I had some injury in the teenage years and it healed and I moved on. Do I ever think about it? No. Do I have in my dating profile that, hey, in high school, I injured my finger in this way. Don't talk to me unless you've injured your finger and healed it. No, I never think about it. I never even registers because I've resolved it and moved on with my life. It's not a constant irritation in my nervous system. Now, if it healed in a weird way that impeded my natural function and my natural ability to deal with life, yeah, then I might mention it because that would be an injury. That would be a form of disability. But I wouldn't say that that injury or disability is now a form of superiority. I wouldn't say that that injury or disability is a way that makes me better than other people. I wouldn't say that that injury or disability isn't somehow a virtue or somehow makes me an evolved person. I wouldn't claim that that injury or that disability made me a more evolved person. I would know that for what it was, it's a compensation pattern for an injury that's leading to a distorted way of me being. And how this translates and how the rubber hits the road is that more often than not, people think they've done all this stuff and they think they've resolved all these things, but in actuality, they've become better at being neurotic. They're more efficient and effective at their neuroses, but they haven't actually resolved anything. They haven't actually removed the things from their nervous system and resolved and restored homeostasis and comfort to their nervous system, their physiology is still operating under the exact same programming and the exact same cause and effect relationships as it did before, but with just a bunch of additional mental layers and tension and anxiety on top of it.